Hello, hello. But those first two homes.
All righty, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, favorite day of the week when you all come rolling in and can't wait to talk about sales training. So I'm excited to do it here. It is a Friday, January 22nd of 2021. This is the TRC sales training, and I'm in a fancy schmancy glass room today, live from Minnesota. So looking forward to it. Now, if you have sent me recorded calls, you know I have multiple emails I'm going to need to know from each of you that did send me something that wants some of my help today, that you sent it to a specific email that I can find it relatively easily, and I will take a listen to those. Also, as you know, on these calls, I want to hear some outside sales anecdotes when you run into a challenge. My Griffin Realty Group agents are excellent at this. Kate, Jen, Lauren, to name a few. When they come to me, Laura in the office, when she and I are working a deal, they're great at asking their questions and getting their answers. And that's what training and coaching is all about, is that you have your own personal experience. So you have to do me a large favor and speak up when you are an outside sales agent. I just can't believe that you won't come here and take advantage of this free guidance that we offer. If you are watching me somewhere on the internet where we give this away, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm even going to try something crazy and do Clubhouse next week. Try to multicast this anywhere we can to get you the help that you need. All right. So if somebody wants to reach out, I see Adam has sent me a couple. I can find those relatively easy. So Adam, if you are here, Adam Kuchuk, or somebody from your office representing you is here. I have muted all the mics, by the way, so if you want to be there. So Adam's telemarketer, if you are here, you need to let me know that, and then I will deal with these phone calls. Yeah? Where are we at?
I'm here. Amanda sent you some as well.
Okay, hang on. Hold on. I'm looking for Adam's first.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Kuchuk's ISA. Are you here?
Yes.
Okay, there you are. How are you, darling?
I'm good.
Okay. Anything you want to talk to me about these in particular before I go into them, and then we'll go to Amanda's after yours?
Mainly when they say they're already working with another realtor.
Okay.
You know, how to handle that.
Any of these in particular highlight that? So I have Leblu,
Yes.
Ruben, Stat. Which one would you like me to go to?
William, Stat.
Okay, you got it. Here we go. Let's listen to this, and we'll see where we go.
Hello.
Hi, William. This is Ann with Paradigm Realty. And the reason I'm calling you is I noticed your beautiful home in Hemet online today and that it hadn't sold. So I did want to send you a free packet of information that will help you sell the next time. May I do that?
Well, you can't, but we've already decided what we're going to do, so we're fine.
So you changed your mind in selling it, or?
No, we're just going with the same realtor. We're just going. We have it at a certain price that we know that it's going to be tough to sell. You know, it's just one of those things we're taking a stab at. If it sells at that price, then we'll sell. Otherwise, we're saying we have no big desire, especially my wife, to leave. But you know, we got that amount. You know, somebody's willing to pay for it, then why? I said, let's go. But so that we kind of know. We just put it up in October, where it was, just because the market was property around us was going for such prices that we just decided to take a stab at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, would you like a second opinion from my broker who's been in the business over 20 years and a free packet of information?
I understand, but I know that we wanted to sell quick. We'd have to sell for about $75,000 to $80,000 less, and we won't sell it for that. So that's just where we're at. I mean, it was just somebody, it's going to go back and forth the same realtor, and we'll go here in the springtime. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't.
Okay, so there's no, real motivation to sell it quickly.
Well, again, if I sell quickly for less, I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Right. I mean, the only way to sell quickly is if I drop the price down to a more reasonable. We sell it. We remodeled this house. The place was you wouldn't believe what kind of shape it was in when we first bought it. It had no floors, it had no kitchen, no bathroom. The roof was caved in. It had a fence, red cactus was all grown up around it. So we turned it into kind of a nice, little 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a event-sized patio front area with a nice view. So it's going to take, people we did have look at it, they wanted more property to build additional, barns and other things on it. There's really, you got to do some grading to do that. So we're kind of looking for the right person who just wants the nice in the country, patio and excuse me. But that's where we're at. And so we'll probably get more interest here in the springtime. And right now, everybody is sick. All the people I deal with have COVID. So
oh wow,
that's why it's not right back up right now.
Yeah. So are you committed to your real estate agent, or would you be?
Yeah.
You are. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, William. Take care.
All right.
Yeah, great job. I let it go all the way because I wanted to have enough information to deal with there, and I do. So I think the deal there is that you're taking it as far as you can. And so this comes back really, the main trainable moment here is timing and motivation, right? So I don't know that there's a lot more that you could have done in this case because he's looking for a certain number, and who's not motivated according to him? Who's not motivated according to him? And?
Oh, who's not motivated according to him?
Yeah.
People to buy it.
No. The decision maker that's not motivated. Who is it? State the obvious. You're missing the obvious, and that's what I just want to show you. It's just very obvious. From the very start of this call, there was an issue.
His wife.
His wife, period.
Yeah.
When the queen is not happy, the castle is not quiet. This is a dead on arrival moment, and I don't know why, and you didn't get to that why. So if we were doing this again, the best advice that I would give you is you've got to get back to that why. That's the key, right? So,
yes.
so you never get there. And that's why we have this scripting in place for you to remember where you're at in this. And, Autumn does a good job about, talking about this when it comes to looking at where are we really at with what's going on in front of us, as far as we are in control of this conversation. And so I'm not going to say you lose control of it. You just let him go off on his tangents, which is good. He wants to talk about it, but at some point in time, he's wasting your time because you don't have a convertible moment here, right? You're just missing a convertible moment. So I think that's the idea here is that as you come back and take a look at this, the idea is that you didn't ask him why he was selling it in the first place. You heard what he's trying to do, but why, right? Why are you doing it? And why doesn't your wife agree? Because you're letting his perception run this conversation. His conversation with you as well, I'm just going to stay with my guy because I like my guy because my guy knows what we're trying to do, which is get a ridiculous price. Right? So if you want to even have a chance to win one of these, which I think it's a valid thing to pursue, you come back into saying, all right, look, let's try to win this way. Let's say, well, gee, sounds like a beautiful house. Why are you trying to sell it in the first place? Well, blah, 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 blah. And he might reveal why his wife doesn't want to. and say, well, how come your wife doesn't want to sell it? Right? So what you're trying to do is see if this is even a viable avatar. It's not like we want you to try to get to the point where you quote unquote just have this victory for the sense, that you won something. And plus you didn't really lose anything. You vetted a guy who has a very strong attachment to his agents. However, if you do still want to try to win this fight, then what you did not do was figure out why he was trying to sell it. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated was he and how motivated wasn't his wife? See, what he's doing is properly disqualifying himself as the appropriate avatar for you and Adam. And an avatar that's appropriate is one that has the ability, and the interest to sell, right? So, but you never get there with him, Ann. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, you never. So, and it's in your scripting as a reminder, especially in that second beat. Your first beat is beautiful. Your articulation is beautiful, and you get him talking where he otherwise probably would have hung up on you and many others, because he's a very strong, driven, probably high D type of guy, where he gets to this point where he's basically just cutting everybody off. But your articulation in the beginning is so good and the offer is so strong that he does essentially say, well, you could send that to me, but it's not really going to do any good because I like my guy and, we're just trying to get a silly price. And really, if we can get that, we'll go. You know why he needs that price? Because his wife has sort of made it impossible for him to move. I mean, my deduction after all these years of experience would say that this guy he doesn't really have a motivation to sell, and his wife won't let him sell it. He's got the motivation, she doesn't. So she says, here, go out and get this goofy price, which you'll never get. But if you do, then I'll move. And it's sort of a weird tete-a-tete with the husband and wife situation, which would ultimately reveal itself as this isn't really a viable situation, right?
Right.
Got it? So,
yes.
So you want an answer to how to overcome it. It's very particular. Go back to why you're trying to sell it in the first place. How motivated are you? Clearly, it sounds like your wife's not at that same level of motivation. Why not? So if you get all of that out of the second beat, and there's something you can still say, well, look, I get it. You like your realtor, you think, but Adam's got a very particular plan that he puts in place. And it's designed to try to get the attention as long as the price is in the reasonable range. And then you could have gotten into, did you get any showings the first time you did it? How far did you get with the plan that your realtor had to get this goofy price? That's my clear answer to you as to how. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Because I think otherwise this is good. You just don't know what you don't know. So I'm glad you're giving me something, that would be specific. I mean, since we were able to do that quickly, I'm happy to go to one of these others. Would you pick one of the others that you sent me? Is it similar, or is there another issue we could deal with?
I can't remember actually.
Likability and Ruben.
How about, I think Ruben is
okay.
Similar.
What issue? What issue?
State my agent.
Okay, let's listen. Let's see what he does.
Hello?
Hi, Ruben. This is Ann with Paradigm Unity, and the reason I'm calling you is I noticed your beautiful home in Menifee online today, and that it hadn't sold. So I did want to send you a free packet of information that will help you sell it next time. Can I do that?
I'm not interested. I'm already working with a realtor.
You're working with a realtor. Yeah. Would you like a second opinion, or just a free packet of information?
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot you could do there. He's just, again, a high D personality type that has a strong attachment to the realtor. I mean, I think your offer is wonderful. It's pleasant, and just, you're culling the herd. I mean, remember, this is a numbers game. There are going to be a lot of people that don't answer. There are going to be a lot of people that have a vehemently negative reaction. There are going to be the hard no's. And so the offer doesn't resonate with him right now. What I would say is, if there's one thing I can arm you with, if you would like to try one level deeper with these high Ds like this, see, if he were just saying, I decided not to sell, he might be exasperated, angry, mad, whatever, and you might be able to dig deeper with somebody like that. But what I would say is, if you could go a little bit further with anything, it would be, well, look, what I was going to send you was 5 or 6 properties that sold around you with full of, the pictures and details of what sold. And then I would slip in there a copy of the plan that Adam uses to help his clients. So you could be specific about it, because if you're losing and you haven't won with it, I'd like to send you some information that would help you sell it the next time, which would typically ping their curiosity, where they'd lean in and probably ask, well, what are you sending me? You could proactively go on the offensive and tell them what it is, because it is helpful and it is insightful. And there's a large probability that his agent, who wasn't successful with him in the first place, maybe did not, or at a high probability, probably did not, do that sort of a relook at the end of it. Here's 5 or 6 that sold around us when we didn't sell. Because most people aren't bold enough to lean in when a dog like that bites, right?
Yes.
So go on, if you want to go on the offensive in a call like that, tell him what's in it for him specifically versus generally, okay?
Okay.
Good job. Try to practice these this week and get me some next ups, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good job. Amanda sent me some stuff through what email? Because I don't see it in my personal one. So, Amanda, Gail, somebody. Are you all hearing me? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
She sent it to Amanda. Are you there? I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll have to track her down, and then I could do it. I'll look in the Realty Classroom email and see what's what. Sarah Van, I'll take you because I do see one from you. So you there? Or Sarah Corey, or both?
Please state your name and Google Voice will try to connect you.
All right, hold on, guys. Somebody's got you got to mute me if you're going to talk. Sarah Van, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. How are you, darling?
Thanks. How are you?
Good. Okay. All right. Here we go. You have a call here. Tell me what we're looking to work on here.
It is a sign call seller lead.
Okay.
I think the call went well. You've told me this before. I definitely don't keep the conversation as short as I should.
Okay.
Now, because I knew the reason why she wanted.
Hold on. What do you mean by that? Tell me, qualify that.
I ramble on a bit sometimes.
Okay, good. That's a good catch.
And yeah, and every day I definitely trying to slow down the speed of my conversation.
Okay.
Even when I'm talking super, super slow, it's unnatural for me because I naturally talk very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely felt when I was doing that conversation with her, I was speaking really slowly, but I think it still sounds kind of fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a few of the questions I did leave out because I knew why she wants to sell. It's her grandmother passed away, so I didn't need to ask the why. I already knew what that why was. So, but I mean, there was also little details I could have asked as well. But when she had stated that, you know what, we didn't want to really think about the death. I didn't want to ask about, oh, well, what did your grandmother pay for it, which is information that I was able to get, right? But at the same time, should I have asked that?
Okay. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Ready? Let's listen.
Hello.
Hi there, is this Melanie?
Yes.
Hi, Melanie. How are you? This is Sarah calling you back from Metro City with Remax.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
So I'm selling my aunt who she passed away a week and a half ago, and she has a condo on Richmond Road, and yeah, it's very, very sad. Anyway, I'm trying to walk that out right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so she has a condo on Richmond near Lincoln Field, and we need to sell it. My mom and I are just in the process, like we're there going through everything right now. So it's kind of a bit of a mess because we've like pulled everything, but we're starting to think about, we don't have an agent. So like my husband and I bought a new build. So we never got an agent, and my mom lives in Kempsville. So we don't have an agent in Ottawa. Yeah, so
that's the situation. So I guess I was looking for someone who I don't even know if there's like a difference between real estate agents, but I was hoping that to find someone who knew the area and the condo market, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I can do is we can definitely set up a quick tour to have a look at the actual the condo, to kind of see the condition. I'm going to mail you out our 7-point seller plan. It's just a bit of a blueprint.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely want to do a proper evaluation to kind of talk a little bit about what that true value looks like, and talk about how we can get the highest price point, and also give you a little bit of insight on the things that we'll have to do to get it ready for sale. Now, you mentioned that you and your mom were kind of starting the clean up and going through things. Are you guys okay to have somebody come through this week, or does it make more sense over the weekend?
COVID, like I just saw on the news that the government they've declared a state of emergency, and Ottawa, like the province, is going to they're executing stay-at-home orders starting on Thursday.
Oh, yeah,
so
right. Okay.
my mom's 70 and my stepfather's 76, and I don't really want to expose them to anyone, and
Right.
we're very COVID cautious, so I'm just concerned about that kind of thing. I mean, is there a way to do it virtually?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's set up a Zoom meeting. We can
Okay.
definitely do that. And so as of right now, who has signing authority for the property?
So right now, the executor, so my mother's husband is the official executor, so he'll be the one who has to do the signing and everything. But I've been kind of appointed as the person to find a real estate agent and get the condo ready. I live in.
All right, let's break this down a little bit because it's a long one. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it goes on about 9 minutes.
Okay. Well, here's the problem with that. It's the same thing where, and I think you're telling me this, so I like the self-analysis, but what she gave you so much early on to close. We talked about this last week, right? I mean, just make this simpler for her. Grab the bull by the horns. Look, first of all, I love your empathy. I could feel it early on when she tells you why. Could you give me a phone charger quickly, please? It's in the office. Yes, please. Thank you. Sorry. So the point is, when you have her early, she reads her mind aloud very quickly. I mean, this you can't get an easier situation, Sarah, than this, right? I don't have a realtor. We bought directly. I don't know if there's a difference between any of them. I mean, she gives you the dream setup, right? Follow me?
Yep.
It's the dream setup. So what you need to do is in essence, the idea is everything's going to be okay. We got you. Don't worry. So what we'll do is the first thing I could do is get you out some information, because there is a difference amongst realtors, right? There's a difference. And it really is predicated on the plan. And we have a very clear, successful one. So let me get you a copy of that in the mail. And the way that we would start you off too is that we would get you some properties that had sold around the property and just do a little bit of an intake. So you should be moving very quickly here to the seller qualifying form, right? And that doesn't happen. So I'm 3 minutes in it, and you could have easily segued into, all right, I know you're in the car, but let me see if we can just get a few questions answered so that we can begin to set up the best possible appointment to help you. And yes, absolutely, you can do it by Zoom. Bang, you're done. Like 3 minutes, you're about to go off on 6 more minutes where I'm presuming, because you're so good, you close this. But think about the efficiencies. Everybody always asks me about time management, and they always seem to have a scarcity of business in their head. This is exactly what's out there every day. Now, I like this because it's a sign call. Somebody called on your sign, presuming that you were successful. So you've got an inbound call, and she's a seller. Wonderful. I mean, it's just, who wouldn't want to have more of those? But it's like we lose the systematic approach so quickly. And the question is why? So tell me about your work environment. When you made this outbound call back to return an inbound, what does your work environment look like to qualify a seller? How athletically prepared are you in that moment is what I'm after. What does it look like?
So I actually, in front of my computer screen, I have up our listing plan and our buyer plan, like the little infographic. And actually what we've done is with your questionnaire, we've actually laminated it. And so when I'm going through the call, I can literally go down the list with a marker. So I'm not using a bunch of paper.
Yeah.
But I always have that ready. And I've looked her up on Geo. So I see the title owner. Like I have all of that before I even make the call. That's usually before I even start.
Okay. All right. So where's the close here? And why are you delaying is my question.
I think I was hesitant to close her right away because at the beginning of the call, she said, when she mentioned that it was her aunt that passed away, she seemed, I just don't want to think about that. I just want to be really gentle.
Okay, good.
In that moment.
Good, and you are. But what I'm hearing from a lot of the ladies in the group who are so wonderfully empathetic, as we did last week, it's a continuation of that theme. There's a certain point in time where your empathy is becoming a problem here, right? It's becoming a problem. And you're articulating it's a problem as the result of it. I'm telling you the cause because you gave me the result. The result, Danny, I think I went on too long. I was going on and on and on. Yes, because you're now, how do you say this without it sounding really weird? It's bordering on phony empathy at some point in time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like we're coming to the point where the empathy is now becoming a distraction, right? So it's like why are you going there? Why do you have to just stretch this out? It's almost like you're in a triage moment with this gal. You know she's hurting. You know she's lost. You know she needs help. Just grab the bull by the horns. If you want to be, it's sort of like the empathetic doctor or nurse who shows up to the triage in that moment. Very quickly, they know the clock is ticking. This person needs emergency medicine. And so there's that moment of empathy that everybody calm in a crisis, they're able to extract them. What happened? Okay, where are you feeling it? Okay, I hear it. But there's still that underlying urgency. Hey guys, someone's got a dog in the background. Can you just mute the mic? So there's that underlying sense of urgency that medicine has to be applied here. I want you to use that imagery in your head when you're making calls like this. Come across thinking emergency. I need to get her the emergency medicine, which is what in this case? An appointment. Why? That's the next logical step to help this woman, right? You start off by saying, hey, look, this is what's going to happen here. And now you need to tell me a little bit more particular so that I can set up a Zoom. It would be great if we can see it, but if we can't, let's start with Zoom. Is that okay? Yes. And in the meantime, I'll send you out a copy of our plan and you can get started by seeing what is our differentiator. She has set you up to be victorious here. Follow?
Yeah, no, that's really good. I definitely, even when I listened to the call again, I was telling myself I should just cut to the chase. Whereas it went on for a bit and then I brought it back, got the details of the property and then set up the Zoom call. Yeah,
you're as a pro, your only question is from time to time, why does the pro slip into an accordion-like process where they stretch it out for absolutely no reason? There's no reason. And I know why. It's because for some reason the brain drifts off into muscular approach versus systematic approach. And the systematic approach will always beat you in the long run. And people think that the word system dehumanizes a process. Nobody promotes the humanization of this process more than me, to be a person for others. But you're actually like a doctor. You're not going to be the ultimate person for others if you're going to babble on and you're going to let them stay in this heightened emotional state. Right? You can help each other. She's in a depressed state. She lost somebody. It's terrible. She said it. It sounds like she almost wants to drive off the road, right? So you have to really be responsible here, knowing that your emergency medicine is sitting in front of you. Good news, it's laminated. It's in front of you. That's the next step. The minute any of you are on the phone, this is for agents, telemarketers, whomever. The minute you hear that you can offer a next level of service, stop waiting. Say, well, look, I have something for that. I have something for that. And what it is if we can get together at the property, I can look at it, take a look and against the properties that have sold and against our system, we can set up a plan for you. And through that meeting, you'll feel much more empowered. You'll relax. You'll get a sense of control. There's no obligation. There's no pressure. It's just a logical conversation that when you're in an of-service mode, I have that. But you have to be aggressively moving them towards what helps them. A person in an emotionally heightened state, their anxiety is above their head, so they're not thinking logically. The more that you can lean in, Sarah, and bring them to a logical state, you can't bring emotion out of their heart during this process. You can't. It's an emotional process, nor do you seek to. But you do seek to try to get them the right advice as fast as you can. That's your job. Anything else borders on self-serving. Like, I talk because I think I should have done that. You follow me? It's subtle, but you're at such a high level of this game that you'll understand it. Yeah?
Yeah, no, that was great.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to work on that.
Cool. Good. Try to get me another call like that where you say, I get it. I took my accordion and I squeezed it down and I was still of service. I was still empathetic. I'd love to see you not lose those things, but I'd love to see you do it in a much shorter, compact time that actually serves them better than you are with a 9-minute call. You're still effective, but don't forget, to be effective over the course of getting more people help, like, you spent too much time with that person. You could have given them the emergency medicine in 5 minutes and been on to the next person who needed emergency medicine. Follow me?
100%.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%.
Because that's time management. People talk about time management. Time management comes in two issues. One, they don't know what to do. So they have to learn a systematic approach so they know what to do with their time. But two, once we have it, it's the efficiencies that we don't understand. We're wasting time with these efficiencies. So somebody says, well, I can only make X number of calls a day. Based on what? Based on an accordion that's stretched out like that? No, that's something you can control, right? So you're at a higher level of time management issue here, where you're editing. It's sort of like a great Hemingway novel. It's a simple read because he was known for editing 6, 7, 8, 9 times to be the least amount possible, but still be empathetic and highly effective. To be of service at the highest level is to be that simple and cutting. You don't lose empathy because empathy is in your heart and in your tone. Follow? It's not in the time you spend. Let me say that again. The empathetic servant's mentality is maintained in the heart and through the tone. Okay? That's where it is. Not in the extra time you think you should be spending, especially in business. Business is ruthless. It will not allow you that. There will be a diminishing return on that, where I said, like, then it becomes self-serving. You border on this moment where you are the servant by being this empowering force and bringing them along what you know is effective for them. But if you just keep babbling on, at some point in time, what's happening is you're getting a diminishing return on that service. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's where you really need to be, is just, be of service in that moment in time. Hey, Helena, thank you so much for being the first person in Clubhouse. I have no idea what I'm doing over there, but I am. Yeah, good. Just stay in there and listen on. Thank you. We're trying to broadcast this on Clubhouse. For those of you that aren't familiar with Clubhouse, it's a wildly interesting new app. You can download it on the App Store, and I'm going to be broadcasting these live there too, so that I can get as much help out the door as I can. So my good friend Helena is in there as my first guinea pig. All right, so let me, Sarah, bravo. Thank you for that share. Let me reach out.
Thanks,
I'm going to come to Amanda too, but I have to talk to Voltaire's team. Voltaire has sent me a couple of folks here today, Alazon and John. And Alazon, you'll be making calls to probate sellers, and John will be making calls to owners of properties that are investment type that he's trying to buy. So Alazon and John, welcome. Are you both there with me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, welcome. And V's here too, which is great. So welcome. So let's start off with Allison by being, let me see. Tell me a little bit about, have you started already calling these probates, or where are you at in this whole process?
No, I haven't started calling. So this is actually the first, this is the first time I've actually joined in on one of these.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Perfect.
Yeah. So Danny, we have the same probate list that probably Lee had.
Okay.
I don't know. A couple other members have subscribed where they're getting about 100 probate leads a month.
Yes.
And so Allison's gonna, go through that list and just call
good
the heirs and see if anyone wants to sell.
Yeah. Are you using all the leads, V? Is that what you're referencing?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So did I, and we just put it on pause until we could feel like we had, our expireds under control. But Autumn is making some, and like I told you the other day when we were talking, she'll be able to weigh in here with some of her thoughts on this too. Having said that,
I'll put up on your microphone. It's quiet on my end.
Okay. Has anybody else had a hard time hearing me today?
I have my volume all the way up, and I can barely hear it. Yours won't very good.
Okay, let me see. Chris, how about now? Any difference there?
Way different. Thanks.
Oh, there you go. Yep, no problem. No problem. Because I just told me it was a Zoom issue. All right, so I want to just start off by saying, and I would say this as well when you're calling the people, John, that might want to sell and V might want to buy, okay? We have to start off with the two words of service. You want to maintain a level of being of service here. So there has to be something that's in it for them when they start off. That's our principle here, and that's what's helped us. Now, it does behave differently from context to context. So, for example, Allison, if you were calling an expired to be of service, it's very different from the probate because, and Gail can weigh in on this too, because she's been successfully calling probates for some time now too. So that'll be a good segue after we do these two into, Gail's calls. So the idea would be is that I believe that the differentiator is that, Allison, you're going to have a lot of competition. There are going to be a lot of people calling these probate leads, specifically the people that are trying to buy them. So a lot of the fixer flipper types that are out there that are trying to pay, wholesale prices for cash are going to go after the probates as a source of leads. So just understand the lion's den within which you're about to jump. Okay. I just want to get that straight. So having said that, the reason I even bring that up is because I want you to be able to differentiate yourself by being that one that stands out from the crowd with an offer. So what somebody wants who's going to sell their property at a deep level, even if they can't articulate it, like you heard that on Sarah's call, they want guidance, right? They want guidance in that moment in time. But to get somebody to even lean in to hear your guidance, our thought is there must be some gift of information right up front, just like that. That's what there needs to be. So when you come in there, you look at it and you say, all right, what could I give a probate in the opening line? So listen to this, Allison, from the standpoint, and you should train both on expireds and this, so you get it's the same underlying seller offer ultimately, but you must deal with how you meet them in the field. In other words, you are calling most likely the administrator of an estate who probably is part of the family that just experienced this death. You with me so far? You can leave your mic open while you're in the hot seat with me.
Yes.
Okay. So any questions or thoughts about that? Because your perception matters to me. What do you think when I go through that? Any concerns?
I guess the only concern would be that, again, like you're saying, they're so used to getting those calls,
yeah.
And they find themselves within the problem, right? It's their family most of the time, so they're very much so connected to it.
Love that. That's beautifully articulated. They find themselves within the problem is precisely correct. Everybody should write that down, what she just said. That's a winner. You're within the problem, and when you've expired, you're within it. That's your problem. You're within this death as the administrator or the attorney. What beautiful language. Bravo. You will do just fine on the phone, my dear. So the idea here now is, okay, good. So how can you enter a room which is crowded and noisy and just immediately stand out? To be of service. So think about that person standing there as the administrator. There is a probability that they are emotionally shook by this one way or the other. They didn't like the person or they loved the person, would be the two extremes, right? And now they're in charge of something that is overwhelming to them. Not only are they dealing with death, but they've never dealt with the process of disposing of property. Now, the other complication is they may already be in the mode of dealing with an estate attorney who has maybe taken the bull by the horns, maybe not. And this will dovetail beautifully with what Voltaire is doing himself from a referral standpoint. And he's got some experience now meeting with probate attorneys as a source of business. So we have all of this going on, right? So the emotional part, The administrator's there loving or hating the person and having to deal with the process and maybe having an attorney. There's your complicated room you enter into. Forget about competition. We're going to deal with that swiftly, okay? The idea is to enter into how can you be of service to that noisy room? So the idea is this. We try to vet them very quickly to find out if they will read their mind aloud a little bit to tell us what's going on. So we have to get out of our mouths something quickly. Allison, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. I'm calling you because I noticed that you are the personal representative for a probate estate, and I'd like to send you something that'll help you get through the process. May I do that? So that was my first inclination to bring something like that we already know is effective with all sorts of avatars. I don't know if Lauren's on here today from my office, but Lauren, is doing that with agents who find themselves completely, new agents, completely discombobulated, not knowing what they don't know. So if we could put together a package of information and we could offer to them asking nothing in return, well, all of a sudden we come to the front of the class of those people that are asking questions about the property. Right? Does that make sense? See, I don't even know if you're going to encounter, and I know it's most of the time that these leads are dealing with property. If they find themselves in a situation where they didn't have a will and now they have to go through this probate process, it's most likely that there's even real estate that's not being dealt with properly. So the probability that these calls involve real estate is high, but they might not. So you might stumble upon the occasional vetting of a probate that there is no property, or the property was sold long ago. So don't feel bad about that. Move swiftly through it, because your vetting is, I'd like to send you some information. So Voltaire, for you, ultimately, what's underlying here is a listing, right? So it always comes back to the very same core thing. What do I have that I offer that's different? And so Allison, Voltaire can show you in its infographic form or in its magazine form, we put together a 7-step process that any seller would go through. But now we have the complication of probate. So we also put together, and V might already have some of his own stuff, but if not, Voltaire, you or your sister can go on to the Teachable site and download what we've done for a timeline for the probate process and the glossary of key terms, just to enlighten them, Allison, about the process they're about to enter as the administrator of the estate. Okay, so to get attached to the goods that have been productized that you can give to them, that's your first offer. Want me to slow that down and go back, or do you have questions about that?
If you could just repeat the last part you said about terms.
Sure. So what somebody doesn't really know when they're administrator of an estate, and most attorneys have never really gone through this process because they just do it on muscle, like most agents run their business on muscle. They just show up, and what they do is they say, hey, look, I'll take over from here. And they just take over, and now you're kind of blind to it. So what you're doing is entering into that administrative situation with that person without, even if they have an attorney, saying, look, if they say to you, well, what information are you going to send me? Well, what I'm going to send you is a glossary of terms that relate to this probate process that you're within. I'll use your language back at you. You're within this process of going through dealing with the estate itself. Okay. We're not even at the real estate part yet. You'll notice, Allison, right? So now I just come in here and say, this is a glossary of terms and a timeline of what the probate process looks like. And that will help you. Well, I already have an attorney. I understand that. But a lot of attorneys don't give the administrator this, so I think it's helpful. Now we can segue into the other part of it too. This is where we segue into real estate, right? So the idea is, let me just get to where I was in my script. So I'm mailing you a glossary of probate terms, a probate process timeline, and a list of probate attorneys. Voltaire, this is where it comes in for your attorneys, because now you can go and pitch them and saying, look, when anybody doesn't have an attorney, Allison is on the phone making these outbound calls. I can help you by putting you on my list. Right? So V, that's how it dovetails with what you're doing on the other side, because you actually have a proactive, person going out and calling these probates. That attorney doesn't. That's how you help them. Right? Now, the segue is, and you'll have to test this. The segue is, by the way, in the case that there's any real estate that needs to be evaluated for estate purposes, I'll also enclose our 9-step real estate probate process to help you. Okay. So now what we're saying is we're still trying to be helpful to them, because typically in a probate and estate, it's not immediate that it has to be disposed of. And if it is, you'll find it out on this call. And then you can go into full gear mode of, like I just said to Sarah, you could pick up where I left off and say, well, why don't I just take some information? I'll have, Voltaire meet you at the property, right? You can cut to the chase. But remember, this is a very delicate place within which they find themselves. This is death. And the minute you rush them, and the minute you sound like you are all about them, you will get a vehemently negative reaction to you. You still might get it because you're entering into this highly volatile thing. But you see, what I did was I layered the cake. One, let me just get you out some basic stuff about probate. Two, if there's real estate involved, I can include some information about how to evaluate that real estate, or go through the evaluation process for estate purposes. Not to give me the listing, me, I, but to evaluate it for estate purposes. So that helps the administrator, that helps the attorney. Voltaire would be more than happy to go out and do an evaluation of what he thinks the current market value range is for estate purposes. And then, of course,
just a background on that.
Yeah, come on.
Addison, whenever someone passes away, they usually need to know what the value of the property is for tax purposes. So that's what Danny's referring to.
Yeah. So when they're settling the estate, Allison, right, what are they doing? They're valuing it, right? And they're figuring out what's in this estate. Are there stocks? Are there bonds? Is there real estate? Are there obligations? What are the debts that this person owed that accrue to the estate? I mean, I'm not going to play attorney here. There's plenty of competent attorneys that could give that advice. But the point is, I just have a more complicated cake to deal with here, because I need to help the administrator. I need to help them further if there's real estate for estate purposes. And then if there is a rush to sell, I need to help them prepare for sale. So I have 3 layers I have to be fully cognizant of here if I want to be impeccably of service. Make sense? And again, Allison, the idea is I can help you and Voltaire offline putting together the package, but the package of goods. See, what I like to say to everybody at the mastermind level is we must productize what you're offering them so that there's a deliverable. Because if you deliver on this unique promise you made in this noisy room and that arrives at their home, you have just opened up what I would call a competitionless lane. I'm not saying there's not competition. Like I said, it's heavy. But you've opened up a lane where nobody's really doing it like this to be of service, to build relationship, so that if there is a chance for him to list it or buy it, in your case, he's both. He might want to buy it for himself. He can wear 2 hats. We have a lot of people in this group like that wear 2 hats. They're the investor and they're the listing agent potentially. Whatever, you're a full service brokerage too. So you would have all these solutions. But be patient to walk the ladder and test it. Make sense? And Allison, everything I was reading from was a scripted formula that will need adjustments. But Voltaire can get that, or Vanessa can get that for you off of our Mastermind Teachable site. It's our prospecting mind map that deals with, we try to deal with as many scenarios that we would have for phone work, outside sales, whatever it might be. And then you'll just have to get me some recorded calls and we'll see how it went, right? And we'll refine it. Hey, Autumn, do you want to comment on this for Allison and your experience? Because your gear shift was rudely awakening. I mean, Autumn in my office got rudely awakened when she tried to do some of these in the beginning versus, as she developed. Autumn, I see you in there. You'll have to unmute your mic unless I can do it, which I don't think I can. Autumn. Okay. When she can figure out the unmute there, we'll deal with it. John, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. So same process with you, really. I mean, and you probably have less layers in the cake. Tell me a little bit about the type of people that you'll be calling and what your perception is.
Real quick, so John's going to be calling property owners that own 2, 3, 4, 5 unit properties. They're investment properties, 90% of the time. And he's going to be just, calling to see if they have any interest in selling their property.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Hey, Voltaire, if you can multitask too, and you can try to enter the room that I pinged you on in Clubhouse, I try to want to get some momentum for next week. Or anybody else, Dino, anybody else that's on this call that I know is a Clubhouse user, let's see if we can figure out that that's an effective medium for these businesses by joining me over there in that room.
I've been in and out, so I wasn't paying attention. What do you need over there?
Clubhouse, nothing. Real estate sales training is a live room that I think I pinged you on. If you wouldn't mind going in there, let's try to fall forward on that.
I've got 3 invites available. If anybody needs, just send me a DM on Instagram.
Yeah, perfect. Clubhouse is something not to be ignored.
It's a machine.
Yeah, we need to pay attention to this as a medium. All right. So, and by the way, any of you that want to find me,
too, Danny.
What's that?
I just got 2 invites today.
Okay, good.
That I can share.
Awesome,
I
wonderful.
want to point out that real quick is it's for iPhones only. I'm not able to get on because I don't have a cool iPhone.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll get that fixed, but I'm a loser. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem they need to fix. I think they're doing it right.
Wow, got it. I'll remember that.
Watch out, she's
Droids are leaders, not followers.
Yeah, she's
Just
feisty.
saying.
All right, so Jumper, if you can find me, I'm trying to multitask here. If you can find me over there, Helena.
I didn't find it. I didn't see no ping or nothing.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I can't. If you guys are on there, I will try to invite. There you are, V. There's a ping. Dean, you weren't live, so when you go live, I should be able to see you all.
Yep. 1 second.
Okay.
Did you invite me too, Danny?
Are you in Clubhouse yet as a user?
I'm going there right now.
Okay. You might need an invite. So, all right, let me keep going with this because I've got John on deck. So he's calling these multis. Yep. Go ahead. You guys might be sitting next to each other. So V, just keep your mic muted well if you're close to another mic that's open there. Go ahead. John, you there? John, you have to unmute me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have you made any of these calls yet, John?
I did a few months ago.
Okay.
I did a couple.
Okay. Tell me about your experience back then. What happened? What was it like?
I kind of watched, somebody else do it, and I try to, it seemed kind of self-explanatory.
Yep.
I didn't necessarily have, too much success, but I was starting to get comfortable with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to systematize it. That's for sure. You don't want to be getting on that phone on muscle by just listening to somebody. As you got comfortable, that's a good clue that something feels right, that you're getting somewhere with somebody. What made you feel comfortable?
I'm not sure what that is. Just the type of conversation that I was starting to have with the potential sellers. At first it was kind of like, no, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested. And then I would say about 30, 40 minutes later, I actually got into a conversation, and I was able to ask a few questions. It didn't necessarily lead to anything, but it's mainly because, it was my first time really cold calling anybody.
Okay. Well, my belief is that it doesn't matter what time it is. My belief is that with the right system, you'll be effective tomorrow. That's my belief, right? Because what a system does is, number one, it introduces you. Hi, this is John from Lepe 10 Will calling, right? So when if you have their name, hey guys, somebody's got noise in the background. Mute your mic.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay, all good. So the first thing is authority. So, and again, when Voltaire pulls this scripting, this mind map off of the website, the first line is a law of authority. Okay, so John, you need to be the authority. John, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. See how quickly you said yes when I said your name with a question? See what I mean? There's very real human behavior laws at play. The minute I said your name with a sense of authority and a question mark, it triggered you to identify yourself with a yes. That's how powerful some of this stuff can be once you understand it, right? So you got me leaning in like maybe, I'm in trouble or something's going on, as Autumn says, right? So I start to listen to it that way. So the next thing is I've established authority quickly. I'm not apologetic. not that you are, and you don't sound like that, but that's just globally for everybody listening, is that we don't want to lose the authority right up front by saying things like, hi, is John, we start to stutter, we get weird. If I say, John, ? You lean in, yes? John, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I noticed that you own this beautiful quad down on XYZ Street. Is that right? You know what I mean? So, and again, we're falling into it. We're going to have to find out what this is like. But the next thing is the word because is a trigger. If you read Robert Cialdini's book, Influence, you'll find that he believes that that's one of the biggest trigger words in the English language. For some reason, it triggers us to lean in. It sounds like either we're in trouble or there's something in it for us, whatever that magical word does, right? There's been tests done where people were standing in line for a copier and somebody would cut and they would test the excuses in the language they used to cut. And when they used the word because, it was amazing how few people protested. I mean, the guy would simply say, I'm coming up here to make copies. Then he would say, I'm coming up here because I need to make copies. It's crazy, right? So if you want to understand formulaically why certain things work, we can't ignore that. Now, it sounds weird because it has nothing to do with something like like we need to make sense of, hey, on Clubhouse, I might die over there, huh? That doesn't look good. I don't know what's going on with the charger. Sorry, guys. If Clubhouse, if I die, the experiment dies an early death. So what we need to do now is we need to come into that next line and get the law of likability. These are Robert Cialdini, Cialdini, his book Influence. He will talk about these laws of human behavior. I've already used authority. You all saw it work live when John leaned in with the question mark after his name. Law of likability is, I'm calling you because I saw this wonderful thing that you did, this wonderful thing that you own. I'm really interested in this fabulous thing. That all triggers likability because you're saying something positive about them by default because of what they own. Even if it's beaten up. I saw this, you see the beauty in it, John, right? If it's a dilapidated plex that you think Voltaire would buy tomorrow morning, then there's got beauty in it, doesn't it? Right? Yeah. Because there's value added opportunity, and to you see a beauty. You say, what are you talking about, John? The thing's falling down. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Beautiful, right? Value can be added to that thing. Yeah, but I'm not going to do it. Well, that's why I'm calling you, because what I'd like to do is see if we couldn't get you some idea of what it's worth, and see if we couldn't get you a couple of offers on the property, right? If but now again, we have this problem when we're trying to figure out their timing and motivation. So again, I'm going to fall forward a little bit with you, but we're going to hammer this into a couple of things we can do immediately. Number one, your introduction can be tightened up. Number two, the reason for call can be tightened up. But what's in it for them, right? What's in it for them? You could test cutting straight to the chase. In fact, we have a bunch of realtors, a bunch of investors who really like it.
You cut out. What'd you say?
Yep.
You cut out.
Okay, hang on. Can you hear me again?
We couldn't hear what you said. Yeah.
Can you hear me again?
I can hear you now.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Law of authority. Let me run through a test, V. John, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw this beautiful fourplex that you own. And what I wanted to do is see if I could send you a couple of investor offers on that property. May I do that? You could even go that fast and cut to the chase, because what's in it for them ultimately is an offer. I don't love it because it rushes and we don't get there, but it does cut to the chase, Voltaire. And if he's got a lot of people going around, that is what's in it for them, a written offer. And since you are a real buyer of that stuff, he could really legitimately have one quickly. So you'll have to determine if that replacement for the free package that Allison is going to send, that you would send with expireds, if the match there is an offer. I don't know if it's too aggressive yet or not until I hear some of these calls, but why not cheat to the most aggressive and then back it down? His downsell could be a test to, well, you know what, I'm not really in the mode to sell it right now. Okay, great. What I could do is I could send you a fistful of properties that are like yours that sold, complete with pictures and details, and a copy of our seller's plan, so that if you do decide to sell it, you've got some kind of a clue, right? So he could downsell them to a seller package, right? He could downsell them to that package. So I would say, since his goal for you is to get you into a place where you can write an offer, why not try that? And instead of layering the cake the other way like we did for Allison, you flip it over. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah, cool. So John, why don't we take a hack at trying a couple of calls that are formulaically like that? And that will take this pressure off you to do this on muscle and just be a good conversationalist. Got me?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I'm excited. I think that could work. Yeah. And guys, offline, the three of you with me, we'll have a separate training call to just tighten this up. But I think that puts a big dent in it right now, where you can go out as soon as this call is over and give this stuff a run. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bravo. Yeah. Excited for you three. I'm excited for you three. You all,
thanks a lot, Danny.
yeah, you're going to do fine. Yeah, you're going to do fine in this. All right. Last piece is Amanda's calls. I'm going to circle back to them. Where are we at? Amanda, I need to hear from you. Otherwise, I can't coach you. Gail, is she having mic trouble or something? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know what.
Yeah, because Autumn wasn't able to unmute today too, so don't know what's happening.
Well, you just have to. I don't know what's happening either.
Let me mess with the mics for a second. Mute all. Let me see if there's a. Will it let me unmute everybody? Does she call in from a 208? No, that's not her. What's her number? There she is. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, Amanda. Yep.
Hello.
There you go. Amanda.
What is that?
That's Gail's harp. Gail likes to play the harp during our sales training calls. I don't know if you've ever seen it sitting behind her.
Yes, I'm a great harpist.
She has a beautiful harp.
So celestial.
Yeah. Someday when
she doesn't really play it. It's just the aura that follows her.
That's even better. That's even better.
It's divine.
That's even better. That's like the minute you, and in fact, when she's mad, it goes off a little bit louder. So.
Oh my God.
All right, Amanda, here we go. Let's get after this. Tell me what I'm listening to.
Oh, you're listening to a couple. They're up in age and they are downsizing, I guess.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Hi, this is Carol. Yes. Hi, Carol. This is Amanda from Rossetti Realty. I spoke with you. We're not interested. Don't go through your thing. We're not interested. Thank you. Oh, I was calling to follow up on the package that I had sent.
That's not the right one. I resent you one just a minute ago.
Okay. Hold on.
I've sent the one that's 2 minutes and something. It's the same people.
Okay, but hold on.
That was the follow-up call.
Yeah, hold on. I want to know, why would you have had success and then she would hang up on you the second time?
Well, the first time she had to pass me to the husband. So I think the wife is older than the husband and she's a little bit forgetful.
Okay. So you would want to call back and ask for him.
Right.
Okay.
But the first call is the one that we were going to review.
Okay. I don't have any other call. That was
I sent it. It's in the Danny at the Realty classroom.
Yep. I just played the one you just sent me. So if you have a
I don't know why I cannot get the other one to download. It's 2 minutes and something.
Here, let me see. Hold on. Let me see if this one. Let's try this one. Let's see this one. Hang on.
It says it's 2 minutes long.
Hello. Hi, Alfred. This is Amanda from Rossetti Realty.
Yeah, that's not it.
From where? Rossetti.
Okay, that's not it either?
No, I don't know why I can't find it. Doggone. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to search. I don't know. Maybe it's under a different name.
You search for it your first next week, and Gail will remind me of that. And let's get a couple of them for you next week, like we did in the beginning of this call. Okay, so we'll kick you off with 2.
Okay, yeah, because the call that I tried to send you is it's almost 3 minutes long.
All good.
So I don't know why it's not populating.
We won't resolve it in this short period of time here today, but we will next week. All right, let me do a hot seat round, a fire round. Let me ask this. What is the biggest burning question that you haven't asked me today? Somebody speak up. Throw something out on the table. I don't care who it is. We'll just do a little bit of a lightning round here for a few minutes. Okay? The biggest burning.
I have a question.
Yep, go.
So when we're talking to the clients, are we supposed to sound like we know what we're talking about, or is it okay to just constantly keep saying the best person to talk to is Gail, or I think Autumn does, the best person to talk to is Danny? Or are we supposed to act like we know what we're talking about as well?
Well, you better know what you're talking about that package, what's in that package, right, and why that's a benefit. But after that, I think the tarmac gets a little bit thin and you start to run out of room. I don't think I wouldn't state it the way you're stating it in your mind's eye. You're dumbing yourself down by saying that way. You do have a break off point where I think if you learn too much and you start to go too far, you're spoiling the appointment. So you're saying too much and it could hurt you. So it's not about knowing or not knowing. I think you should never stop learning. I think you should know everything that Gail does. I think at some point in time, if Gail gets a friendly listing presentation, she should zoom you in and you should be quiet and listen to the whole thing so you learn even more about what you're selling. You're selling her insight in that home. So I don't think you should ever stop learning. But I also don't think you should say it like that. But now I want to know the context. Why are you asking me that?
Oh, because the area where we call, the people are pretty astute and they ask questions sometimes. And so what we've decided is that every time I'm going to say the best person to talk with about that is Gail. But I had a couple of people that are like, well, if you're not the person that knows anything, then why am I talking to you? So it's a fine line.
Okay, well, fine. So what would you say to that? Tell me what you would say to that.
Well, to one gentleman, I told him, well, I'm the pre-listing coordinator, and I help Gail make sure that, she's getting the right information together so that she can, talk with you particulars about your situation, your location, and your property.
Okay, stop. You're going too far already. Because I'm the pre-listing coordinator. I'm the telemarketer here. And my job is to see who she can help. We're looking for people to help. All she wants to do is help you. So that's my job. That's why. So you're asking great questions. So clearly you could use the help. I mean, why are you losing confidence in that moment?
Oh, well, I mean, if I can just keep it that simple, that's great.
Why aren't you keeping it that simple?
I don't know, because we never had these questions before, so I'm having to think on the fly.
Okay, we have had.
And after I did that, I was like, okay, well, what's the best way to do it? Should I be acting like I'm a professional and know what I'm talking about, or
all right, hold on.
Like you just answered, the thing to know is Gail.
Hold on, we're not acting here. There's no need for that. That's a lot of pressure. My daughter's a professional actress. I know how good she is at it, and it's really difficult to do. We're not acting here. We're serving here. The language here is extremely powerful, and it matters. How you say what you say, it really, really is powerful. So don't say things like this to yourself. And we have talked about this before on this call, not necessarily with you, and I want everybody to hear this message today. Know what you're supposed to know. And then when you run out of tarmac, say, I don't know, but Gail does. And pass it off. You don't know what I know, and you're not going to learn what I know because that's not the position you've applied for. You're not applying for outside sales, right? When we train outside sales here or at the Griffin Realty Group, we are going to vehemently and strongly go into what happens when they go into the field with a buyer, when they go into the field with a seller. That's our expertise, right? So just know what you know. I'm here to vet the situation for Gail, to see if somebody truly needs help, and they're open to it. And if you are, my job is to ask you some particular questions about your situation and property so that when Gail arrives, she can give you all her free professional insight about what she would do as the outside part. That's why. See, you're letting their perceptions run away with you. They're grabbing you by the nose and they're pulling you along. Well, why am I talking to you? Well, because I'm the inside sales coordinator. Well, why aren't you the agent? Because I have a specialty role here. Well, I want to talk. Whatever they're fumbling and stumbling over, they're fumbling and stumbling over their own frustration, but they're leading you through their own perception. You need to very quickly learn how to control that, or you won't be successful, right? You can't, this is to everybody. You can't just let people keep steamrolling you and not know what your job is, right? So your job is to get Gail in the house, and you need to lean into that, right? You need to lean into that. And if you can't, you can have a very difficult time, all of you. Okay. All right. Another.
That sounded perfect.
Yep. Okay. Lightning round. Keep going. Next person. Lightning round. I'll take him as long as I hear him for the next 5 minutes. If I don't, that's the end of this. Go.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Jada.
It's Jada, actually.
Jada, sorry.
Oh, no, that's totally fine. Get it away the first time, right?
Yep.
It's nice to meet everybody. I'm new at the Metro City Property Group office. I work side by side with Miss Sarah Van, which is an honor.
Lucky you.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. So, Danny, my question for you today is in terms of speaking with a seller. So, a couple of points in the intro. We've got a pretty great intro going on. However, when we're running into this, number one, I thought that when I clicked on this link and a free evaluation would just pop up. I didn't think that somebody was going to call me. Number two, I'm just curious about my home. So is there a way that you would suggest us, a way for us to find out the motivation of the seller, if they are actually serious or whatnot?
100%.
Do you think there's a better way to insert this at the beginning of our script rather than getting to the end of your questions and whatnot?
Yeah. Well, you don't need it in that case because you've already made a very clear offer and you're calling them back. So, but again, this all matters in the whole process. And this is where you need to be educated. And that's what I don't like about those type of leads, right? Because, and I've talked to Sarah about this, Tarek, Steve, if the offer is a little bit of a hoodwink, it bothers me. If there's an insinuation that there's an instant, valuation, that's no good. If there's not, then you're simply in the same situation of explaining to somebody who has a misperception, right? So say, look, this is not a quick algorithmic guesstimate, but it is a free evaluation of your property. So it's no problem if you're just thinking about buying. There's no pressure, no. So you need to deal with it like that. Follow? But you're asking me about an objection that you're getting or a pushback. When you say, I've got a pretty good intro, here we go. We're going to role play it now. Okay. I just asked you for an evaluation. Okay. So call me up and let's hear what you do say, because I'll probably find something that could be tweaked there. Okay. So here we go. Ready?
Ready.
Hello.
Hello. Am I speaking with Danny?
You are.
Hi, Danny. This is Jada calling from Metro City Property Group with Remax. The reason I'm calling you is because you've put in a request for a free home evaluation for your property at 23 Eagleson. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Is that still your current address, Danny?
It is.
Excellent. I just want to provide you with some free data today, but first I had a couple of questions just to help with the report that I look to send you on the free home evaluation.
Okay. Yeah, it's too much. See, right there, right away, it's very easy. That all needs to be trimmed. When you actually get to the deliverable, it's sloppy. It's too much. And so what you allow me to do is get confused. And a confused mind at the extreme hangs up, right? We just bail. We press the, evacuation button. So an extreme reaction to confused mind, hang up. The next one is the pushback. And in Canada, there's a lot of nice pushbackers, right? Because you're all nice to each other. So you get this nice kind of passive aggressive pushback. And that's what you're probably getting a lot of because you're not clear about this. So I'd like to send that evaluation to this address. And is it for that address? Boom. Like, stop making this a complex process, especially in light of what you've already learned. They think it's instant. They think it's non-human, right? Say, oh no, this is not some random guesstimate. This is actually us taking that address, refining what's happening around it, and giving you an estimate of where it would sell, right? You need to be ready like that, and what the deliverable is, right? So you need to work with whomever, me, Sarah, whomever. What does the deliverable look like? So forget about what you're about to do and ask me, and you're going too far. Let me just tell you that. It's not your fault. Okay, so we need to edit this up at the office there. But the point is, what is going to be sent to me? If I were to object during this role play right now and say, well, what are you sending me? pick it up there. Well, Jada, what are you sending me?
What I'd like to send you is an area analysis on how the homes are doing around you. You're probably noticing a lot of signs going up, just to give you some rough numbers. And if you're open to that, we have a 7-step seller's package I'd also like to send you, just to lay out the way that we would go about selling your home today.
Okay, see, it's too much. It's just way too much, because to be of service, we have to edit all of what. See, you're getting into what we want to get to them and what they need, and that's not what they asked for. And we haven't even been able to vet them, which is ultimately your question to me. You're asking me a question of like, how do I get to these qualification questions first? So the point is that you have to deliver first. Here we go. Ready? Hi, is this Jada?
Yes, it is.
Jada, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because you had asked me for a free home evaluation at 23 Eagleson, and I wanted to send that in the mail. My quick question is, did you want the evaluation for that address, and is that also the mailing address?
It is, yes.
Okay, Jada, so what we'll do to help you determine the current value of the house, this is beyond that quick and, guesstimate online that you might have gotten before. We're actually going to take what's sold around you, and we're going to cull it down to show you houses like you and what they're selling for. That will give you at least a starting range. Obviously, if there's motivation to sell it, we need to come out and really refine that. So is that the right address that I would send that stuff to? Is that correct?
Yes, it is the right address.
Wonderful. Let me put that in the mail to you so that you understand what's coming to you, and I'll call you next week to make sure you got it. Okay?
Sounds good.
Hey, by the way, while I have you, why were you asking for the evaluation?
Just looking to see what's going on in the market right now, what my house is worth.
Great.
Just curious.
Were you thinking about selling the house?
It really depends on the numbers.
Yeah. If the number was right on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated would you be to sell it?
Probably a 9.
Yeah. Okay, super. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do there, because your motivation is very I'll slip in a copy of the 7-step plan we use to customize for our clients as a little free gift as well. But the appropriate step first is just get you some information. You can see what's selling around you. That's how that comparison begins. Let's make sure you get that first. You can see how the plan affects value, and then I'll call you to follow up, and we'll make sure you got it. That help?
It would help, yes, absolutely.
Okay,
and you're going to be able to get, how will I know if my home is actually worth the same as what you're sending me in the comparison? I've done a lot of upgrades and renovations, and my yard's quite different than the other yards around me. So, how would I go about getting a little bit more of an exact number?
Perfect. Well, since you're so motivated, what I could suggest is, rather than mail this, what I'll do is I'll send one of our outside sales experts with the information. So that way, the insight that you're asking for on top of the information, they'll give it all to you in that one meeting, because then they'll be able to, you could show them the upgrades, you can show them what they've done. So then they'll take that information of what's sold around you, they'll analyze it and chunk it down a little bit so you know more precisely what yours is worth. Does that sound good?
Danny, can I throw you a curveball?
Fine, keep coming.
We're actually in lockdown right now, so I'm not comfortable with somebody coming to my home right now.
Fabulous. No problem. We're happy to do it by Zoom. The only challenge is there. Perhaps, I don't know that you want to walk around with a laptop in the house, but at least you could meet with one of the outside sales agents, go down that list of particulars with them. I think a meeting would benefit you even on Zoom. Are you open to a Zoom meeting?
That's a great idea. I absolutely would be.
Okay, super. So let me do this. Because we're going a little bit more into a deeper level, I'd like to just ask you a few questions in particulars about the property so that I can really set this meeting up to be of maximum benefit. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the house? You have a quick second to do that with me?
Can you catch me maybe in the evening in a couple hours?
Sure, no problem. Just so I can grab one of the outside sales agents in advance. What are you thinking about a day for the meeting? I'm happy to call you back to vet the meeting a little bit, but what are you thinking about a day and time would be best?
Let's say maybe Tuesday.
Okay,
Tuesday evening.
Evening, did you say?
Yes, please.
Okay, particular time you prefer?
How does 5 o'clock work?
Okay, perfect. Let me book that in tentatively now, and then I'll call you what time tonight to do a little bit more vetting? What works for you?
Same time, 5 o'clock works.
Okay, bravo. So there you go. So that's how systematically it can become and how conversational it can become. Now, of course, I know I have thousands of hours of thinking in a systematic way, but as I was doing with Allison, John, Amanda, I always default to, where am I at? Now, you all might need to have your finger on the pulse of the script and say where you're at in that moment. But you're adding word whiskers out of nervousness because you're all trying to perform. Stop trying to perform, act, whatever the words are that we use. You're serving. So what I'm hearing is what's important to you, but I'm also demonstrating leadership, right? I'm demonstrating leadership. So I start the whole journey off with you in a better direction because I know what my deliverable is. I know what it is. An offer was made online. I know what the deliverable is, and I know its limitations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a list of properties that sold around you, and that's how we come to a more particular determination. We work with our clients, but that's the great way to start. See from the MLS pictures and details of properties most like yours that sold. I'm going to put that in there to you, and you'll have that. And what did you do? You then began to say, well, wait, there's more. Right, I'm confused. See, because you began to trust me. I heard this on Clubhouse the other day. There was, by the way, my Clubhouse gang is still there. I heard this on Clubhouse. I heard somebody ask for real estate advice, and I heard the absolute worst advice I could hear. It was valid advice, but it was the worst. Somebody asking, how do I get somebody to trust me? You get somebody to trust you by offering them information that would empower them I love what Allison said, within which the environment they find themselves. So give them the information first. You find yourself at a point trying to figure out what your house is worth. The way that's really done is to look at what the money really bought around you for the properties that are most like yours. That's it. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. That's it. Oh, and by the way, of course, we're going to slip in a copy of our 7-step plan that we customize for our clients. With or without us, it's what to do. So I've given you what you really wanted to figure out what your house is worth. What you really needed is a plan. Now, if you have a true reason to sell it and true motivation, why don't we just have a person come over with the information who will take that information and add insight? That's analysis. So when we use these words, comparative market analysis, it's a dangerous term until an agent comes and meets with you about the property and the particulars. There's no analysis happening. It's just information. So we need to, as an industry, make a differentiation. I can happily give you information, but if you need analysis that helps you refine, that's the value of the meeting. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, all. Listen, I went way OT and the lightning round. Thank you to those of you that participated. Go practice this stuff, but stay formulaic. Stop doing stuff on muscle. You're going to really sweat when you don't have to, okay? We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Dan.
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Thanks for being here. Clubhouse.
Danny, for sharing about my harp.
Yeah, no, I love your harp. Your harp adds value. All right, everybody that's out there on Clubhouse, thank you so much for letting me fall forward in that. We will definitely be a little bit more sophisticated on Clubhouse next week when we do this. I think I can probably actually book a time. I'll bring in some moderators over there too, and but at least we fell forward. So see everybody later. Thanks.
Thanks, Dean.
StreamYard, thank you. If you're listening out there on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere out there, appreciate you all out there too.